Please roll me up another dank, another smoke. Though I see it as the antidote to cure my daily anecdotes, I see my thoughts as adios. Finito, I get New Jerseys like I was a Guido. The ego, gotta be vetoed if you want a free throw. The evils, stay with the scripture, what your mama read you. You gotta milk the game, son, I couldn't bottle feed you. This next bar was about to do some logic shit, but now I gotta stop the shit and let me pop my shit. Drama still adding on, staying positive. All my niggas on my side, on the opposite. Get money from a show, then deposit it. Yo, shows got no hoes, I acknowledge it. So braggadocious, spit sick shit, it's atrocious. Rising like the stock broken. The Shogun came through with no gun, one man, Ichiban, fresh out of Japan, do as like a man, and what I demand.
What is going on YouTube? It is Calb. I'm back at it again. So in my last video, I talked about how I wanted to make a evade build with Mesa, and so this is what I've come up with. Now, please note that I don't intend to make videos that serve to be the best build, and my titles will reflect that. It's more so of a concept that I thought up of by myself that I wanted to put out there, and possibly maybe someone smarter than me can see it and make it better, which is really what's like the best part about playing this game at the end of the day, is that there's people out there that are smarter than you, that know more than you, that can make your ideas even better if they so choose to. So this is my evade Mesa. I don't know what I really want to call her. I was thinking about calling this build Desperado. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get right into it. First things first, the most controversial choice that we have is removing our fourth ability Peacemakers for evade. Now, the reason why I do this is because in a sense, you don't need to build into strength as much, and there's a lot of things you basically get freedoms from when you remove your Peacemakers. Your Peacemakers are everything on Mesa. When you typically play a normal Mesa build, you have to build into it full-fledged. Something like a viral nourish build or a pillage build is quite common. Pillage more so for more of the deeper endgame stuff. And then your arcanes have to also match that. Like, you need to have arcane velocity with Arcane Avenger. I actually don't have an Arcane Avenger anymore. I got rid of it because I wasn't really using it for builds that would highly benefit from it. But it is best in slot. Multi-augment is here just because I have nothing else, and multi-augment is just generally a good mod for arcane. So evade. Didn't want to put any Forma into this build since I've already put Forma into other builds, so this is what I was able to come up with. Now we're going to notice off rip that I'm using Worthy Camaraderie. Now this is squad receives plus 75% weak point critical chance. And I was thinking about this, since your regulators, Peacemakers, they cannot hit headshots. Normally they can't hit headshots. I'm pretty sure they just target like center mass. So you can't really take advantage of much weak point crit stuff or just weak point stuff in general. And a lot of this update added things in that have to do with that. So I decided I want to take advantage of this, since evade is based off headshots. And plus, evade wouldn't be able to work with regulators. That should be noted. Maybe I'm wrong about that, and if I'm wrong, please do tell me, but to my knowledge, you don't aim for the head when you use regulators. It like aims for the center mass of the target. And if the weak point happens to be there, then it would count. Up next, we have Vigilante Pursuit. Now, this is used for both the enemy radar and the crit chance to enhance. Now, the reason why enemy radar is important is because a lot of people I've seen talk about using evade is that their teammates will steal their kills and they won't be able to keep it up. And I've always found confusion with that, especially when we go with the weapon that we're about to use with it, which you've probably already seen. It is dual toxocyst. It's used for a multitude of reasons. But when you have punch through and you have an ability like evade with Cyte-09, but you don't have the ability to see through walls like Cyte-09 can, what you can do is use punch through via other weapons or just abilities and take advantage of the fact that you generally know where a weak point is on an enemy and how the layout of a room lays. And if you know the direction where they're coming from, more so than your teammates who can't see the enemy because they're in a different room, you can just start shooting through walls. So much so that this build, I'm able to kill enemies that are 200 meters away because I know where they're going to be, and I'll just aim in the general direction of where they should be. And you can see that in the gameplay right now that I'm doing this from rooms away. I'm killing enemies, like I'm killing them through doors on doors, and I'm getting headshots because of how this weapon works. But let's get back to the Mesa. Prime Flow, you need the energy. Umbral Intensify, just for the ability strength, plus my other builds use it, so why not use it here? You can't really take advantage of the health because you're supposed to be invisible, so you won't really have health. And you can't take advantage of the armor, which I have an absurd amount of armor right now, which should be stated purely because I have an invigoration on that gives me secondary crit chance and armor. Unfortunately, the crit chance does affect the build, but it is not necessary for the build to work. However, it does benefit the build, and if you do have an invigoration, why not use it with your builds? Like, let's not kid yourself. If you have the ability to make yourself stronger, you should make yourself stronger. There is no downside to having invigorations. Prime Continuity, which is extra duration. You're reminded, reducing the range, which is important in this build. Range is important. However, you get a lot more duration, which is important for 1, 2, 3 of your abilities. Yes, Shooting Gallery, it's quite important. Evade, it's quite important. Shadow Shield, not so much, but when you do activate it, it is for safety and moments when your evade is down and you need to have a safety net to hold you off while evade comes back up. With the current duration that we have, we're able to stay safe for an entire minute plus a bit more, which is longer than the duration of Cyte-09's evade being down. So it's just a layer to help you out in case you need it. Blind Rage for the ability strength, because we do need ability strength for our Ballistic Bullseye. Now, Ballistic Bullseye is typically used for just getting crits on weapons that typically don't crit. So something like Sporthix. However, I wanted to take advantage of a weapon that most people use Ballistic Bullseye for, but use it in a way that self-procs itself on top of it being just generally fun to use. Then we have Muzzle Flash. Muzzle Flash is just good crowd control, and there has been complaints that I've seen that Cedo-09's ability is a bit buggy. So I decided Muzzle Flash would just make the evade stronger while it's in its broken state. It's also just good for your teammates, because if you're invisible, your teammates can still get shot. However, if you're nearby your teammates and you're killing really fast, you can blind all the enemies, which will stop them from attacking your teammates, and in effect will also help you not get accidentally hit because you're nearby your teammates and you caught a stray bullets even though you're invisible. Because even though you're invisible, it doesn't mean you're invincible when you're in a group. Alright, let's get into our weapons really quick. Dual Toxocyst, we all know about this weapon. We talked about it in the last video, but if you don't know about it, it's pretty damn strong. It's like one of the best secondary weapons in the game. It's possibly the best one. I'm not going to say if it is or isn't, because I don't want to have a debate with someone in my comment section, because they have 17,000 giga farts worth of damage more than I do, and I'm a stupid dumb idiot. Regardless, this is what I use. Everyone needs to use the first form. Everyone likes multi-shot. That's super easy to do. You can literally use your transference and just transference a bunch of times. You can actually cast Ballistic Battery just a fuck ton of times too if you want to do that for whatever reason. Reload from empty, because why not? Like, the other options are also good. Like, there's not really a bad option here. It's just whatever you prefer. I prefer this one because the reload is abysmal even with it on. Then we have extra crit chance, because this is a crit build for crying out loud. On here, my dual toxocyst, it has Riven, it has multi-shot and punch through. This isn't necessary, but if you do get a Riven, I do recommend getting a punch through one. Multi-shot is also extremely good, but the punch through is important because of the ricochet that dual toxocyst it does a lot of punch through, does a lot of damage, does kills enemies, betters the end. If you were to remove a mod, I would highly recommend you remove Merciless Gunfight and replace it with Galvanized Crosshairs. I believe this will put you in the red crit territory on its own, on top of it being able to give you a crit chance that is better for, well, so how I'm going to explain it, it gives you super red crits, which are better than normal crits, which is really good. If you don't understand what that is, I highly recommend you go look on the Warframe Wiki's page on crit multipliers, because even though I do get a nice 8.8, if I hit a super crit that is basically better than the 8.8 that I would hit during a red, if I hit a super red, it is basically adding whatever, I think it's 7.5, basically adds that 7.5 on top of that. I don't think that's the exact number, but it's better. That's all you need to know. It is better to have a super red crit than just a red crit, especially when our crit chance and crit damage is this high. It is absurdly beneficial. You can use secondary outbursts. The reason why I don't use secondary outbursts is because I want to use my melee weapon, right? I don't want my melee weapon to be dedicated only to building up my secondary weapon, because that is what a typical Mesa build does, and this isn't a typical Mesa build. And scene. Let's talk about the Cedo, whatever you want to call it. This is what we have right here. Now, I accidentally recorded this part and didn't actually record it at all, so I'm going to explain it really quick for you. So we don't really need to worry about the primary fire. That isn't the main goal of the build. However, we do want to worry about the secondary fire. Now, our crit multiplier isn't too high, but with the mod that we're using, this actually becomes a, instead of a 4, it becomes a 3. It is really, wait, I said that wrong. Instead of this being a 4, it becomes a 7, and a 7 is really cool because 7 will do a lot more damage than 3. Yeah, I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, so we're using this as a primer, but when we use ballistic battery, it actually can kill out a whole bunch of enemies in case our dual toxocyst is down. This is a backup plan, and let's say we just want to kill this because we want to kill with it. You can do that as well. Here's footage of that. Boom, that's awesome, right? All right, let's hop into. Actually, no, we set up the melee weapon. We can't hop into anything. Melee weapon is the Vastilok. This is just an armor stripping Vastilok. Nothing too special about it. They're pretty standard mods. I don't think I need to go over it. If you know how this gun works, you know how Shattered Impact works. It's pretty simple. You use your heavy attack, you strip armor. People go bye-bye, they go sad, they cry. And also on heavy attack hits, you get extra movement speed, so this can be nice to use in a pinch. You just hit a heavy attack while you're invisible and you just run away. And Mesa already has, I think, 1.1 sprint, so that just makes it, I think, 7. Or 1.7. I don't know. Oh, we're using these shards. These are what the shards we're using. I didn't say it earlier. Yeah. All right. In terms of pet, I have a pet named Cowboy. He's pretty cool. I'm gonna be real. So like, what really matters here is probably just having Tenacious Bond and Reinforced and Cat Eyes. Cat Eyes gives you final crit chance, which is plus 60 after everything. So this can help with our Cedo hitting red crits. So let's say we have this and Ballistic Battery up at the same time. Our Cedo will now have 162% crit chance. And then that makes it really easy for the reds to happen. And if we had Arcade Avenger, we'd be guaranteed orange crits, and then a 30% chance of hitting reds after the fact. Or no, 15% chance of it. Reinforce is just more fire rate, which is nice. It's good. Tenacious gives us a 1.2 final crit multiplier, which is nice. We're using Loyal Retriever because we want more loot. Duh. Synth mods are just good in general. Companions hit something and we kill it. That means they can drop orbs. Also, it reloads my guns if they're holstered, which is nice and actually works for Reinforced Bond. Synth Fiber just makes my companion have double armor for whenever they pick up an orb. Enhanced vitality, enhanced or calculated redirection. Modern's bod, you can honestly put anything here. You could honestly not even put this from right here and put in something like more armor. You can put ticket. You could do this. Honestly, let's do this. Boom. We're doing that now. We're doing this. We're doing purple, y'all. That's what we're doing here. Alrighty. That's going to be it for today. I'm going to throw more footage on top of this video. I'm pretty sure you guys can get a good idea of how the build looks because that is what I'm recording on, and I will most certainly have at least more than 5 seconds for every part. I probably have minutes on minutes, but I'm going to throw some gameplay on top of all this commentary, so it's a lot more entertaining for you to watch. If you have any suggestions on how I should make my videos or anything that I should look into for future so I don't make a fool of myself, please let me know down in the comment section. I truly appreciate you guys' comments, and I hope you have a good one. Peace out, y'all.